Hello aspirants, I hope your preparation for civil services UPSc CSE Prelims 2025 is on track and you are already equipped with whatever you have read, and now you are in your revision phase of all the mocks and currently doing the revision of all the current affairs. So I am Manpreet Singh Mahal, and Nimbus Academy IAS has come up with a new series to assist your current affairs preparation. And now in that very series we are here with a third video which will be focusing on your political geography aspect. So in first two videos you must have seen the important international organizations and the important regional organizations, and now this video will focus on important international crisis, the areas in the news and the focus areas which you have to focus more with respect to your map questions and the questions from the international relations. Now going forward, first thing first, the main area of conflict, the Middle East, and the bone of contention in Middle East has been Iran because of the exit of USA from Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, and Iran since then has been enriching its nuclear capability. So because of that, there have been attacks on Iran, there have been attacks by Iran on the neighboring areas. So because of first one, the religious differences in the region, and the next one, the international crisis in the form of failed JCPOA, we are seeing repeated conflicts in the region. So now Iran has recently launched the missile attacks on the different countries like Iraq, Pakistan and Syria. But what is more important from your UPSC point of view? From UPSC point of view, the conflict region becomes important and the conflict groups also become important. So from that point of view, Jaish al-Adl is one particular important organization which has been operating in Pakistan. Moreover, there is one more important organization, ISIS, which has been operating from the soil of Iraq and Syria also. But you have to remember that ISIS is also known as Daesh. More importantly, there is one more important group which you have to focus on, that is the Houthis of Yemen. The Houthis of Yemen are more important for UPSC this year because they are operating from this particular region which is called the Marib region of your Yemen. So if you just try to zoom this map a little, you will see that here there is a little crossing which is a strategic choke point for your world trade, that is called Bab al-Mandeb Strait. And this Bab al-Mandeb Strait has seen the Houthis operating from this Marib region and repeatedly attacking the ships in this region. This has increased after your Israel-Palestine conflict because Houthis, which they claim are basically the defenders of God, they are claiming that they have full support to the Palestine and the Muslim community, and that is why they are interrupting the movement of ships through this area, and this area connects your Red Sea to the Gulf of Aden. So this area becomes important, Yemen becomes important, and these few groups from where they are operating, that also becomes important. So your Daesh is operating from Iraq and Syria, that is ISIS. Then your Jaish al-Adl is operating from the region of Pakistan. Moreover, the Houthis are operating from the Marib region in Yemen. So all this becomes important for your UPSC point of view. Now moving forward in the political geography, once Iran is in news, then you can't just keep Iran out of the news. This is because from UPSC point of view, the borders of Iran become all the more important. In 2022-23, there was question on the bordering countries of Afghanistan because of the exit of USA from the area. So now Iran has been in the news. So it is very important to look into the bordering countries of Iran. So Iran is strategically located near India and it is part of India's extended neighborhood policy. Then the border states of Iran encompass Armenia, Azerbaijan, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Iraq. These are the countries which share their land borders with Iran. But also from the UPSC point of view, there are two particular water bodies which are very important with respect to Iran. This is because Iran does share its land borders with those water bodies too. One is Persian Gulf, and Persian Gulf is always a bone of contention because of the strategic resource location here. Moreover, there is one more particular water body which you have to keep in your mind, that Iran also shares its land border with your Caspian Sea. So two water bodies, and the countries like Armenia, Azerbaijan, Turkey, Iraq, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Turkmenistan. So these are the countries along with Armenia and Azerbaijan, and two water bodies which border your state of Iran. Now going forward, there are a few places with respect to Iran and the surrounding regions which you have to also bear in your mind, because these places can appear in one of your options or one of the questions of UPSC Prelims. First of all, Erbil. Erbil is a small city in Iraq and it has seen repeated terror attacks and missile attacks from the side of Iran. So Erbil is a small city in Iraq which has become a bone of contention between your Iraq and your Iran. Then the Kurdistan region. So Kurdistan is not particularly situated in one particular country. किसी एक देश का part नहीं है Kurdistan, but Kurdistan is rather a area of bonhomie between different countries. तो इस रीजन की जो कंट्रीज हैं, जैसे ईरान हुआ, इराक हुआ, सीरिया हुआ या टर्की हुआ, Kurdistan has been a bone of contention between them. So Kurdistan is basically a fight for the Kurdist autonomy. जो वहाँ के कुर्द्स हैं, they are fighting for autonomy from all these states. जो states कुर्दिस्तान को encompass करती है, उसके against जो fight चल रही है, that is leading to a civil strife there. That is why Kurdistan becomes important. So Kurdistan, as you can see, this area of Kurdistan, it is basically bound by different countries like Turkey, Armenia, Syria, Iraq, and Iran. So Kurdistan is one fine region that is being bound by all these countries and it is fighting for autonomy in this region. Then there is a particular province in Iran which has faced the terror attacks, which has faced the missile attacks. That is your Kerman region. So if someone asks you where is Kerman region situated, that is a part of Iran. Then there are a few important locations with respect to Iran's neighbor Syria, which you have to also bear in your mind. These locations are Idlib, Aleppo, Ghouta, and Damascus. So Damascus is a very important city in Syria, but more importantly, there are regions where Iran has launched its missile attacks. So these regions are Idlib, Aleppo, and Ghouta. So these are the regions which you have to bear in your mind with respect to international crisis of Iran and Syria. अब थोड़ा सा नीचे आते हैं ईरान, इराक, सऊदी से, and let's come to the Red Sea area. Red Sea area, as I told you already, it has a strategic choke point in the form of Bab al-Mandeb Strait. This Bab al-Mandeb Strait is, as I told, being blocked by the Houthis from Yemen. And now, because of the repeated incursion by the Houthis, so in order to aid the safe and innocent passage of ships from this area through the Red Sea area, United States of America has come up with an operation. That operation is basically named as Operation Prosperity Guardian. So Operation Prosperity Guardian has been the operation which is launched by United States of America to aid the movement of ships and vessels through the Red Sea area. Now, Red Sea area, as you can see, it is a very important area, not only with respect to world trade, but also the Indian trade. This is because if this is India, and if we have to reach this part of Europe, then there are two ways of doing it. The first one being through the Cape of Good Hope, use this route, or use a conventional route from the Red Sea area and the Mediterranean and reach Europe. So from the figure, it's very clear which is the smaller route and why this area is important for civil services point of view also. Now, coming into a little detail of this area, we have to focus a little here. This is because the countries bordering the Red Sea become all the more important because of Red Sea dispute. So Egypt, Sudan, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Djibouti, Yemen and Saudi Arabia. These are the countries which encompass your Red Sea area. So you have to remember these countries on your fingertips. And in order to remember such countries on your fingertips, you can use acronyms which can be very handy when you are there in the exam environment. So there's one particular acronym which I always use in order to remember this, that is SEEDS-Y. So SEEDS-Y is one acronym that I use, which comprises of Sudan, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Djibouti, then your Saudi Arabia and Yemen. These are the countries which are located in the Red Sea area, and of course there is one fine country, that is Egypt. And from Egypt, whenever a ship enters through the Bab al-Mandeb Strait, it passes through all this area through the Red Sea, and eventually it reaches a choke point from where you will see land, not sea. And from here a canal has been constructed which is called the Suez Canal. So Suez Canal and Red Sea area, it becomes important from your political geography point of view. Now, going forward, let's look into a little detail of Horn of Africa. This is because, as far as I remember, in 2022-23, there was a question asked about the military coups in various countries. So the instability in the form of military coups was the reason for asking such a question, and the countries located around the Horn of Africa are usually unstable. And we will go into the detail of some of these countries, but firstly you will have to remember which are the countries that are located around the Horn of Africa. So what is Horn of Africa at first place? Horn of Africa, if you draw the map of Africa, especially geography optional students, then this is how we make it. So this particular area of Africa, this is called the Horn of Africa because of its resemblance with the horn of rhinoceros. Eventually, what are the countries in this area? There are four basic countries which are part of Horn, that is Djibouti, Eritrea, Ethiopia and Somalia. Again, the acronym for this can be made in the form of SEED. So Somalia, Eritrea, Ethiopia and Djibouti. So these are the countries which have been plagued by hunger, strife and massive displacement. So now going forward, if we look at the map here, this is where Eritrea is located, this is Somalia, this is your Djibouti and this is your Sudan. Then this is again the Bab al-Mandeb crossing, Gulf of Aden and your Suez Canal from the Egyptian area. So this is how you have to prepare your maps, prepare your political geography for the international relations and for the UPSc Prelims 2025. Now coming forward, as I told you, there is one country which is part of your Horn of Africa, which is Somalia. And Somalia में conflict का main region भी autonomy ही है. There are groups fighting in various regions, two particular regions in general, that is Somaliland and Puntland, and they have been seeking autonomy from Somalia. But इनमें एक basic point of difference है, सोमालीलैंड एक ऐसा एरिया है सोमालिया का जिसपे दे have been seeking autonomy and they have been seeking autonomy from entire Somalia. They don't want to be part of Somalia. But Puntland is one such area which is seeking autonomy, but it wants to be a part of Somalia. So you don't have to go into so much detail, but from your prelims point of view, you should remember that Somaliland and Puntland, these are both the areas of conflict which are located in Somalia, which is part of Horn of Africa. So going into the map of Somalia, you can see here this area basically, which is located along the coast Gulf of Aden, जिसके साथ जो एरिया लगता है सोमालिया का, that is your Somaliland, and it is a breakaway semi-arid territory. Moreover, this area which basically forms your horn, that is called Puntland, it is an arid region in northeast of Somalia. So this is how you have to prepare your Somalia region. Now coming a little south of Somalia and little deeper into the African continent, your South Sudan. South Sudan, it is also one of the most diverse countries of Africa. The diverse countries of Africa because nearly it's a home to about 60 to 70 ethnic groups. जब 60-70 ethnic groups वहां पे इकट्ठे रह रहे हो और there is a clash between two different countries, that is Sudan and South Sudan, then the ethnic conflict is also bound to happen. And South Sudan and Sudan are basically fighting over a disputed region between them, which is resource rich region, which is called Abai region in your Sudan. So if someone asks you in their prelims that Abai region is a disputed region between Sudan and South Sudan. So Abai, a disputed territory, is an oil rich region. So oil is something that nobody is willing to give up upon. Oil is something that India is vying for, and oil is something that we as a fossil fuel dependent nation also look for, and oil is something which is leading to Middle East crisis. So this, because of the oil in the Abai region, it is a disputed region between Sudan and South Sudan. So as I told you, Africa has become a playground for various nations, a playground for various nations to come at conflict with each other because of various natural resources, and it is one fine reason as to why it is called the Black Continent. And eventually it is leading to civil strife and inhuman conditions in the area. So the civil strife is very perceptible from this picture, in which you can see people carrying children to the hospitals, being assisted by the UN peacekeepers, the blue helmets, and India being one of the largest contributor to the UN peacekeeping forces and the blue helmet. So अफ्रीका एंड एशिया के बीच में ये इमेज एक बहुत ही नॉर्मल इमेज है इन कंट्रीज जो कि बहुत ही एक इनह्यूमन सिविल स्ट्राइफ्स के थ्रू निकल रही हैं. ये अबई रीजन की एक फोटो है, बट ऐसे ही कई रीजन इस पूरे एरिया में है जहां पे ये फोटोज रोजमर्रा आपको देखने को मिल जाएंगी. सो इफ यू आर बोर्न इन दिस कंट्री देन यू सर्टनली should feel blessed that we are part of our pyara Bharat. Then going a little down, Democratic Republic of Congo. Now in Democratic Republic of Congo there is one conflict region which you have to remember, that is North Kivu. And North Kivu mein which is the group which is active or which is showing your activism, that is M23 rebels. Why is it called M23 rebels? Why not M25? This is because of the March 23 movement which M23 rebels launched in Northern Kivu. देखते हैं यहाँ पे DRC में Northern Kivu कहाँ पे लोकेटेड है ताकि आपको वो चीज याद रहे, और ये भी देखते हैं कि डेमोक्रेटिक रिपब्लिक ऑफ कॉन्गो को कौन कौन सी कंट्रीज हैं जो कि बॉर्डर करती हैं. सो डेमोक्रेटिक रिपब्लिक ऑफ कॉन्गो, दिस रीजन on its north eastern border, this region is basically your North Kivu. So you have to remember these regions on your fingertips. For example, Marib region of Yemen, Abyei region of Sudan and South Sudan, then Kivu, North Kivu conflict region of Democratic Republic of Congo. Conflict group M23 group. Now going into the map of Democratic Republic of Congo, it is surrounded by various countries, and you can look Sudan, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, Zambia, Angola, Congo Republic and Central African Republic. These are the countries which are bordering your Democratic Republic of Congo. Again, please drop a mnemonic of these countries so that these countries are also on your fingertips and you don't skip a question if there arises a question with respect to your DRC's neighbors. Now, the conflict which has been in news on various news channels and various newspapers एंड द हिंदू की आई बार हेडलाइंस में ये कॉन्फ्लिक्ट रहता ही रहता है, दैट इज इजराइल पैलेस्टीन कॉन्फ्लिक्ट. तो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट के बारे में ज़्यादा वी कांट गो इनटू द डिटेल, बट व्हाट वी नीड टू रिमेंबर फ्रॉम योर प्रीलिम्स पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू हियर इज द कंट्रीज विच आर बॉर्डरिंग इजराइल. सो दिस इज इजराइल. इजराइल के साथ देयर आर वेरियस कंट्रीज विच आर बॉर्डरिंग इजराइल. You have to remember the names of those countries. The first one being Lebanon, then your Syria, Jordan, Egypt. That's it. These are basically the countries which are bordering your Israel. But Israel के साथ साथ हमने ये भी याद रखना है कि there are a few places which are very important, very 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 important places. And those places being this Gaza Strip. You should remember, if this is the map of Israel, तो Gaza Strip कहाँ पे located है? It is located on basically the western side of Israel. And you should also remember, where is West Bank located? West Bank is located on the eastern side of Israel. So don't confuse. Gaza Strip located on western side and West Bank located on eastern side of the Israel. So these are the areas which are seeing the conflict due to the Israel-Palestine crisis. Then one more important aspect of Israel-Palestine conflict is the different ports from which the supplies are done for basically the humanitarian purposes. And there are a certain ports which become all the more important because of Indian significance. India, especially Adani Group, has invested around $1.2 billion in Haifa port of Israel. So Haifa port becomes important, and with Haifa other ports do become important, and examiner can delve deeper into that aspect, that which of these ports are located in Israel. So you must remember the names: Haifa, Hadera, Tel Aviv, Ashdod, Ashkelon and Eilat. These are the ports of Israel. तो आपने ये सारे पोर्ट्स को याद रखना है: हाइफा, हदेरा, तेल अवीव, अशदोद, अशलेकन and Eilat. Especially your Haifa port because of Indian overseas investment. Then going forward to your Syria. Syria, as I told you, it's a bordering state of Israel, and Syria has been facing the heat not only from Israel but also from Iran, and there is civil unrest going on in Syria, which has led to the creation of Daesh or the ISIS, Islamic group of Iraq and Syria. So there are a few important locations जो कि आपने सिर्फ याद रखनी है. ये locations अगर एग्जाम में फिगर आउट होती हैं प्रोमिनेंटली तो आपको आपके जहन में आ जाना चाहिए, आपको पता चल जाना चाहिए कि they are being referred to in some region of Syria. So सबसे पहले Idlib, which I told you is a city in northwestern Syria. Then Bab al-Hawa crossing. It is basically a crossing between Syria and your Turkey. That is Asian Turkey का जो region है उसके बीच में ये बाब अल हवा क्रॉसिंग आपको देखने को मिलेगी. अल हवल रेफ्यूजी कैंप which is a refugee camp in southern Syria, and Banias, which is also a city in Syria. So Syria, अगर इसका भी मैप देखें, then Syria is being bordered by Turkey, जिसके साथ बाबल हवा क्रॉसिंग आपको देखने को मिलेगी. It is bordered by Iraq, then it is bordered by Jordan, Lebanon, and it also shares land border with Israel. So इस तरीके से आपने इन मैप्स को अपने दिमाग में रखना है. इस तरीके से आपने इंपॉर्टेंट लोकेशंस को और इंपॉर्टेंट ग्रुप्स को विच आर देयर इन these areas, which are operating in these areas, आपने याद रखना है. So what is one important group that is causing the trouble in the Syrian region? Please drop your answer in the comment box. Now Gulf of Aqaba. Gulf of Aqaba again becomes important. So it is a gulf. Gulf is basically a water body that is surrounded by two big land masses. तो Gulf जो है एक water body है which is being surrounded by Sinai Peninsula on one side. Sinai Peninsula is part of Egypt, and it is surrounded by Saudi Arabia on another side. So this is your Gulf of Aqaba. Gulf of Aqaba को अपने दिमाग में रखना है. And there is one fine aspect of Gulf of Aqaba. This is because Gulf of Aqaba is important because it also shares its border with Israel and Jordan. तो इजराइल और जॉर्डन के साथ अगर ये शेयर कर रहा है अपना बॉर्डर, सो इट बिकम्स इंपॉर्टेंट फ्रॉम इजराइल पैलेस्टीन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. एक और चीज, द वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग अबाउट गल्फ ऑफ अकाबा इज इट बॉर्डर्स योर फ्यूचरिस्टिक सिटी दैट इज नियोम सिटी. सो नियोम सिटी इज बीइंग डेवलप्ड बाय सऊदी अरेबिया. इट इज गोइंग टू बी अ फ्यूचरिस्टिक सिटी विद ऑल द अपग्रेडेड टेक्नोलॉजी. इट विल बी powered by the renewables. Then it is going to host the first Asian Winter Games in 2029. तो उसका first Asian Winter Games जो है 2029 में नियोम सिटी host करेगी. So this city also becomes important and it is located around your Gulf of Aqaba. Then going forward, let's come back to your Asia, हमारा प्यारा भारत. As I told you, ports are important. Ports are very, very, very important. And there is one port in Israel in which India is doing its overseas investment. Haifa port in Israel. But there is another port which is located around Strait of Malacca. Straits को हम लोग आगे डिस्कस करेंगे. विच आर द इंपॉर्टेंट स्ट्रेट्स, इंपॉर्टेंट बोन ऑफ कंटेंशन बिटवीन डिफरेंट कंट्रीज. सो अराउंड द स्ट्रेट ऑफ मलक्का, इंडिया इज डेवलपिंग वन पोर्ट which is with the collaboration of Indonesia, that is your Sabang port. Now Sabang port is very strategically located. This is because you can see here Sabang port is located near your Indira point, which has now been submerged. So जो सबसे नीचे का इंडिया का पॉइंट था, that is your Indira point. Indira point के पास Sabang port है, and Sabang port is strategically located near your Strait of Malacca. This is a very important trade route for the ASEAN countries, for India, China and the Japan. So ASEAN countries के लिए ये बहुत ही important एक trade route है, एक बहुत ही important strait है जिसके थ्रू यहाँ से शिप्स गुजरते हैं और जिसके बेसिस पर बहुत सारी कंट्रीज की इकोनॉमी चल रही है. फॉर एग्जांपल सिंगापुर. सो सबांग पोर्ट इज अ स्ट्रेटेजिकली लोकेटेड पोर्ट in Indonesia and India is developing it. Now, so if there is Sabang port in the news, then there are other ports which also become important. So what are these ports? Let's just have a glimpse of it. These ports being Haifa port, as I told you, it is being developed by Adani in Israel. Then Sabang port, I told you, it's with the Indonesian collaboration. There is West Container Terminal in Colombo port, Dukm port in Oman, Chabahar port in Iran, Mogla and Chattogram ports, which are both in Bangladesh, and Sitwe port in Myanmar. So these become not only important for your prelims point of view, but these ports are also important for your mains point of view. Mains में कभी भी आप मैप बनाकर इस हिसाब से कोई भी क्वेश्चन अगर इंडिया के एक्सटेंडेड नेबरहुड पे आता है या नेबरहुड फर्स्ट पॉलिसी पे आता है, you can utilize these maps and these can fetch you additional 0.5 to 1 mark. So going forward, let's stay in the region and come to a crisis. इस crisis के बारे में आपको बहुत कुछ पता भी है. So Rohingyas are basically the communities which have migrated from Myanmar because of the Burmese army's action. तो ये क्राइसिस थोड़ा पुराना हो चुका है, बट इस क्राइसिस में आपने क्या चीजें याद रखनी है, दैट आई विल बी टेलिंग यू. इट इज बेसिकली एन एथनिक ग्रुप फ्रॉम म्यांमार. सो रोहिंग्यास आर फ्रॉम म्यांमार. And from where are they coming from? They were based in Rakhine province of West Myanmar. So this region also becomes important because it is part of a previous year question of 2023. And they have taken shelter in Cox's Bazar area of Bangladesh post-Burmese attack. So post-Burmese army ka attack, they have taken refuge in Cox's Bazar area. And where's Cox's Bazar area located? It is below Indian hinterland, here, around here in Bangladesh. So which is the state? Which is the state that is nearest to Cox's Bazar? So it is in close proximity with India's Mizoram and also with India's West Bengal. So Cox's Bazar is located here. Cox's Bazar, Rakhine province, and ethnic group from Myanmar. That is all you have to remember from Rohingya crisis point of view. Now moving from Asia straight away to South America. South American islands. There are a few islands in South America which are also important for your political geography, and these islands being one very close to Argentina, which is your Falkland Islands, and the other ones which are close to Ecuador, that is your Galapagos Islands. So Ecuador से यहाँ पर गैलापागोस आइलैंड्स है और अर्जेंटीना के बहुत ही क्लोज फाकलैंड आइलैंड्स है. सो इफ यू लुक क्लोजली एट द मैप ऑफ साउथ अमेरिका, देन Ecuador is located somewhere here. This is a country, Ecuador, and here you will see your Galapagos Islands. All right. So Ecuador it is under the control of Ecuador. Moreover, the islands, that is Falkland Islands, they are located here near your Argentina. And the issue with Falkland Islands is that Argentina has laid claim over Falkland Islands over and over, but it is under the control of United Kingdom. So it also becomes important issue for your international relations, or not only from your political geography point of view, but also with respect to your conventional geography. There is Falkland Current which travels like this around the South American continent. तो उस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से भी आपने याद रखना है कि फाकलैंड आइलैंड्स कहाँ पे लोकेटेड हैं, और फाकलैंड आइलैंड्स के ऊपर क्लेम कर रहा है अर्जेंटीना, बट इट इज बीइंग एडमिनिस्ट्रेड बाय द यूनाइटेड किंगडम और द ब्रिटिशर्स. So now going forward and staying with your South America, coming to your Venezuela-Guyana conflict. Guyana is one country located in northern South America, और वो एक ऐसी कंट्री है जहाँ पे people have migrated from India in the 19th and the 20th century, and 40% of inhabitants of Guyana, they are of Indian origin. So this country also becomes important. But Venezuela-Guyana conflict is basically with respect to an oil rich region. Again, the bone of contention here is oil. As I told you, nobody is willing to give up on oil. So it is a disputed territory which has been the reason of conflict. That is your Essequibo region. And Essequibo region, where is it located? This is your Venezuela, this is Guyana. If you look at the map here, Venezuela is located here and Guyana is located here. And if we zoom into it, then this is the map which you will come across. So Essequibo region, this region is basically located west of the Essequibo River. So if you see, then the river Essequibo will flow like this. So it has its origin somewhere here, and then the Essequibo River drains itself into your Atlantic Ocean. All right, and west of Essequibo River, this region is known as Essequibo region, and it is one of the resource rich, oil rich region, and it is a contended region by both Venezuela and Guyana. So Venezuela का question last year prelims में surface हुआ था, इसीलिए this region also becomes important. Venezuela has been in news, Guyana has been in news, so this issue, Essequibo region's issue, becomes important for your UPSC prelims point of view. Now, in order to test your understanding, I have uploaded 2 questions, and the answer to these questions you have to give me in the comment box. This is to test your understanding. The first question is on your screen. Consider the following statements. India is developing overseas Sabang port in Myanmar, Malaysia. First statement. Second statement, it is located near strategic Malacca Strait. So which of these statements are correct? Kindly drop your answer in the comment box. Now another question of your interest. So in order to test your understanding of the ports, Israeli ports, which of the following ports are located in Israel? Haifa, Ashdod, Bilal, Hadera. Choose the correct option. Only 1, 2, 3 or all the 4. So I am expecting the answers to these questions in the comment box. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly subscribe to Nimbus Academy IAS for more such informative content. And you can connect to us through Instagram on nimbus.ias. There is a Telegram page of Nimbus Academy HAS IAS and the Nimbus Academy app on your App Store and your Play Store. So that is how you can connect to us. I hope this video was informative and this will assist you in your preparation. It will assist you ace the prelims examination, not only just the prelims but also your mains examination and UPSC civil services examination in general. So please keep preparing, keep reading, keep leading, and stay connected to Nimbus Academy IAS. Thank you so much.